This video is for you who feels like relationships are complicated and unfulfilling, especially if you've never been in relationships before and you want to make sure to do it right. This video is for you. But also, if you've been in relationships before and they have felt draining, difficult, and very hard to let go of, you're still hung up on your ex and you still think about that one person who at the end of the day was not all that, but they're still living rent-free in your mind. The reason you want to be in relationships is out of a desire, a want, and a willingness, not out of a need. When you are in a relationship from a place of lack and need, you are stripped away from your power, and not your power over other people, but your power as an individual who has the potential to endlessly recreate who they are and can live with the certainty that they are enough just the way they are. A lot of the times, breakups will feel harder when someone was filling a void for you instead of adding to the quality of your life. Here are some tips for you to navigate your dating life with more dignity, power, and fun. There's, I would say, 3-4 laws that you must respect to get to that point. Number 1 is being self-aware. This is something you must master. It is now your responsibility. And if you don't build self-awareness, other people will guess for you or interpret your feelings for you. Now, let's just start by explaining what is self-awareness so you know how to build it. So your self-awareness is a mix of your relationship with yourself and your intimacy with yourself. So, do you actually care about you as a person? Do you wake up asking yourself, how am I feeling today? Or taking time for yourself during the day, or processing your feelings and saying to people what you need and what you feel? Do you spend time doing things that you enjoy? Do you spend time just maybe sitting and being in your head? These are all forms of intimacy with yourself that is needed in future relationships. And the reason you want to work on that is because without intimacy with yourself, you are too vulnerable having intimacy with someone else. Simply because everything that will be given to you is not something that you already have, at least a little bit of. Because let's be real, we all lack in some departments, and a lot of us have little things that we could be working on, and it's not always our fault. Sometimes we just didn't have the guidance growing up, and you are even more at risk if you had zero guidance growing up. You don't spend time valuing yourself and investing in yourself, then the minute someone else does that for you, your brain subconsciously associate that to them. And it feels like you need then that person to give you that level of wellness and of self-love. Because without them, you started with nothing. And most of the time, when these people then leave our lives, it feels harder or more intense than it is because we subtract the power that we have to build those quality within ourselves, and we feel like we just lost something much greater than it is because we forgot how powerful we are, and that everything that has been taken away from you, you can rebuild from scratch for yourself. Not to say that people can't add and don't add value. Of course they do. You know, that amazing connection, that instant click with someone. And sometimes they do things that are incredibly healing for us, and that just feels wonderful. But you will have much more dignity, proper boundaries, and respect for yourself in that relationship if you know that without them, I'm still good. I'm still 100. Well, maybe not 100, but at least I'm not a 0 for myself. If all of your focus is directed to pleasing other people and being liked, being good enough, being nice to others, being sweet, impressing your family, working hard and even harder, then there is a chance that you are purposefully limiting your own intimacy with yourself simply because that was never explained to you. And the good news is, or should I say, the good news are that you can work on it and it gets better. Not everybody starts from the same place, obviously, but it gets better. What else do we have in self-awareness? Well, self-awareness implies that you must be brutally honest with yourself and know every single one of your flaws. And I said it, no one is perfect. But when we lie to ourselves about who we are, for the sake of avoiding the pain and the disappointment that maybe we just don't feel like we have the time to go through, and maybe we numb ourselves with work, gambling, I don't know, drinking, or doing things to the extreme, that's when we also tend to only see the best in us, because we hyper focus on the things that makes us happy, and then everything else that is kind of not going the best, but it's still good. But you know, I love seeing my friends, so I'm only gonna do that heavily and only feel the benefit of seeing my friends. So I feel happy most of the time. When the friends get married, when the friends move away, when the friends are not the people that they portrayed themselves to be, then what are we left with? There is something incredibly rich in your diversity, in all the parts that make you you. And believe it or not, you are not only valid or good enough when you're happy, smiling, lovable, agreeable, kind to people. You're also valid when things don't go well and you feel some doubts, or you have this pain, this anger, and we feel like we have no one to talk to about. So we just repress it. We just repress it, and we repress it. Up until the point that it spills over at random times. And here we are saying, well, that's not me. I don't know what happened to me there. It doesn't look like me. I must have had a terrible night. Maybe I had too much to drink, because that's not me. And when you are dissociating yourself from a part of who you are, the message you're sending to yourself subconsciously is, I'm not good enough. There's something about me that I deeply hate and that I am ashamed of. I am afraid to admit to myself that I am not perfect, or that I might be a quote-unquote bad person sometimes. But you will be giving yourself the greatest gift of all time by starting to see yourself with no filter and trying to use these negative aspects of you for good. If you are a master manipulator or a very good liar, then you must be a very good actor, a very good entertainer, a very good show person. If you feel like you overthink everything and your mind goes in so many directions and you never seem to know what to do and you feel terrible about it, then you must be a great writer. There has to be a lot of potential to have you in a team where we decide between many options. And these are only 2 examples. There's many more. And we can focus on the lies that we tell ourselves and how also we gradually tend to discover more as time goes by and as we get more experience. So don't just go and sit and feel like you're this terrible person and try to find issues where there is none, but use your experience in life and look at where is it that you self-inflict pain, or that you create a story for yourself that you would rather believe in than reality. Because everything is about context, you know? You need to be in the proper environment with the proper people to see some parts of you sometimes. That's just how it is. And lastly, it's not just about pointing out all of your flaws and writing it off as I'm a mess, I will never be good enough, there's so much wrong with me, I was not born in the proper setup to succeed, I'm not meant to succeed, you know. While these feelings are valid, the reality is it's your responsibility now to have compassion for yourself along the way. But if I had to give you an example, think about someone that you really love. Can be a family member, can be a friend, can be a celebrity. And let's say that person's saying to you, hey, I had a really bad day. I felt like I wasn't productive and I didn't do anything good and I feel worthless because of that. What would your reaction be? think about it. So evaluate that and look at how your reaction would be if yourself had the same day with the same reaction to it. Would you give yourself that love? Would you give yourself that compassion? Those are traits to look into. And if you're not able to be compassionate with yourself, then it is extremely, extremely, extremely difficult to be compassionate with other people.